Hi, this is Gilles, the radio prepper. You know, I'm a big fan of unfed antennas. They're just very efficient. Of course, they're twice as long as a quarter wave antenna, but the efficiency is really amazing and you don't need any radials. You also need only one attachment point for the antenna. So you string your antenna up, attach it on a mast, and you have your impedance transformer or tuner at the bottom, and you feed your antenna at the bottom. So you only need to attach it at one point, which is really convenient. And this video is another product review. I'll try to slow down a bit on product reviews because I've been doing a little bit too much of that, and I should be operating. So I'll try to do more field operation videos for you guys, and you let me know if you know which one you like best, or I just like to go out there and get on the radio. So, but I received this unfed antenna from myantennas.com. It's the model 8010P, which presumably works for, let's see, 80, 40, 30, 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10 meters without a tuner, so to speak. So if this works, it's incredible, and it's going to be awesome. The box is made of plastic. Seems to be pretty strong. I wonder about very low temperature, but you know, you can see this box has been made for the antenna. It's not, it wasn't something else that's been adapted, like you know, some companies will use stuff from Home Depot to make their antennas. This one is purposely made. The case is purposely made, so it's really nice, and it seems to be well reinforced. Here you have the SO239. I will use an adapter with this because of course I use BNC for military and QRP radios. Here's the output for the antenna. You have stress relief here, so of course it doesn't pull here on the connection. You can see that this transformer is pretty big compared to, you know, QRP equipment, and that's because it's rated for 200 watts. Now I'll never use 200 watts, so what I really would like is for myantennas.com to make us a QRP version. Now that would be awesome. Something smaller, maybe for, you know, 30 watts or so. I think that on HF you don't need more than 25 to 30 watts, and most military radios have, you know, 25, 30 watts for good reasons, because that's all you need. Now we have this wire here, which seems to be a pretty good quality, and it's a good gauge. It's not ultralight wire, and you have an inductance here, which is simply a plastic fitting and just a few turns of wire. Now I'm a little bit puzzled about this because it's not a trap, obviously, because it's only a few feet from the transformer, so it's might be acting more like a loading coil. I'm not sure, maybe someone will comment on this. And you have the rest of the wire and an insulator, and a big one too. It says made in Germany. When you get something from Germany, usually it's pretty good engineering. So the funny thing is, I received it from Zephyr Hills, Florida. And I used to live in Sarasota, Florida. I did for 22 years. So shout out to you guys. I miss Florida. I tried to open the box to have a look. Took the screws off and tried to pry it open. but it's glued on, so which is good for, you know, being watertight. And if you want to have a look at what's inside, actually the little brochure they send you with the antenna has a picture of the toroids inside and the windings and stuff. I'll try it with the VMARS net on 3615 kilohertz on Wednesday night with England. And I'll try it, of course, with all the other bands, see if it really works everywhere. And for that, I might put it on my roof. And it might just become my permanent home antenna. Now, like I said, I really would like a QRP version that I can take with me, you know, a little backpack, and operate in the field. That would be awesome. Please. Well, this is going to be interesting, given that I'm using a basketball hoop. And there is another one over there, onto which I have attached the end of the 8010P antenna. I had a hell of a time getting that hook to to get caught on that hoop. I thought first of installing the antenna as a sloper, but then I thought, well, this wire is going to be quite heavy on the pole. So I decided to set it up as an inverted V. I was missing a little piece of string, but fortunately I found some trash, which there's plenty of around here. You'd think the French would be more mindful of the environment, but not really. The wire is pretty straight, although the mast is pretty bent. But it's a nice inverted V. Well, the SWR is 3.14 to 1 on 80 meter. Of course, that might be influenced by the shape of the antenna, so I'm sure it is, and I might have to use my tuner, but let's try the other bands. 7 megahertz, 2.12, that's starting to be usable. 10 megahertz, 3.0. 12 megahertz, 3.46. 14.1 megahertz, 3.55. 18.1 megahertz, 1.94. 21 megahertz, 2.35. 24.9 megahertz, 2.76. 27, no, 29 megahertz, 2.16. So it's not bad. I'm sure it's because it's in the shape of a V, and so that must influence the SWR, but I'll just plug in my tuner and I'm sure it's going to work fine for the VMARS net, which is coming up on 3.615 USB. Note that the length of the coax probably has an effect here. Maybe I'll try a counterpoise and we'll see what happens. So I'm adding a 10 meter counterpoise with an alligator clip. Well, it went down a little bit, but not by much. That's gonna work anyway. Yes, good evening. This is Foxtrot for Whiskey Bravo Yankee, north of France. You are about a 3 here. Do you copy? Foxtrot for Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Yankee QSL. QSL, very nice, very nice. Please give me your QRZ again, QRZ. And I was in the Canaries last year in March and really liked it. It was very nice. Over. Okay, I was saying please give me your QRZ again, QRZ. And I was in the Canaries last year in March and really liked it. It was very nice. Over. German in the Canaries. Thank you very much, and you have a good night. Foxtrot for Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Well, I tried 20 meters because I still had a little bit of time before VMARS, and you know, that should work fine. Canary Islands, that's the west coast of Africa. Okay, it's probably time for VMARS. Gotta go on, let's see, change the band. By the way, if you have a 320, always turn this clockwise. 03 6 1 7, which is what I need to plug in to get 03615. The dials here show 2 kilohertz above the what I could call the amateur frequency. Oh, seems like they're there. You can see the pole is really bent, but it's a nice inverted V. I'm just proud of it. What can I say?
Quite sure how long it'll keep going, so if I do disappear, you'll know the reason why. But this is my Marconi AD1420, which I've been working on for about the last 6 weeks, trying to find out what the fault was. And I think I found
some of those guys have really interesting radios.
It's not taking too much power at the moment out of my main power supply, so hopefully
it's getting dark.
I'll keep it short.
I hope it doesn't rain. Lots of QRM tonight. It's often like that, either digital noise or people on LSB, but of course we're on USB. I had to put on the correct jacket for talking to England. You guys are gonna like that.
I've just repaired, and you're just carefully watching everything to see that it's still working. It's putting out about 100 watts, so I think about 400 watts BEP, and taking a few tens of amps from the 28 volt power supply, which drives the three-phase inverter here. And John, for your information, this is the Marconi AD1420. It's an aircraft transceiver, and it was the one used in the Jaguar fighter, the RAF Jaguar fighter. God knows why they needed a
That's pretty original.
But they had this lovely little 400 watt G4JSX.
Fox for Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Foxtrot for Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Foxtrot for Whiskey Bravo Yankee. They got me. Martin's always the strongest for me. Oh, he gave me a 5 and 6. Nice. Roger, thank you very much. I heard the station mention my call sign, but I couldn't quite copy. Here I'm set up portable in a park on a little picnic table, and I have a 12-meter fiberglass mast and an inverted V QSL. it wasn't a question. I was stating my operating conditions here in the park, portable, with a 12-meter mast, fiberglass, and an inverted V. I'm of course using the 320. Over. I think if I had a speaker instead of this, it would work much better and the sound would be so much better. I'll have to get one of those. Excellent. No kidding.
It's completely unmodified, just a standard 320 using the...
Roger, yes, I'm still here. I'm actually going to have to pack up pretty soon, but I decided to stay a little bit longer, so just so I could say good night to everyone. And that's about it for me, so you'll have a good night. Foxtrot for Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Have a good one. So we saw last weekend that the antenna works well on 80 meters. But what about the other bands? I'm installing it as a sloper today. It's 12 meter high and one end will be close to the ground. It's pretty long wire, so we have to go pretty far. One request to myantennas.com is that you need to make this the smallest element about a quarter of an inch longer so that we can actually grab it without having to remove the pole from its support. No, I can't get it. There we go. So I'm not really happy about this situation here. The wire is very low to the ground, because the mast of course is bending quite a bit, so we'll see. It's really close to the ground, so I'm afraid there will be some SWR problems. I wish I could have found another tree, but for the other hand. So I just talked to this guy. And he gave me there he goes. Anyway, he gave me a 5.9, but of course I think it's a contest, so they always give you 5.9s. Doesn't mean anything, but he heard me fine, so that's on 20 meters. The SWR is not great. It's like 4-1, but of course with the antenna so close to the ground at the end here, I'm not surprised. I checked all the bands, and I was going to do a sweep with my antenna analyzer, but it's not good anyway, so there's no point. And that's because because of the way this antenna is installed right now. Again, it's a bit of a problem. I wish the wire was lighter, and I could have brought it much higher. If I had another attachment point, it would work too. But it's a bit heavy, so the mast is pretty sturdy, but not quite enough for this antenna. As you can see, I'm using my T1 tuner here, and maybe that's the point with this antenna. If you install it really well off the ground and really straight, you'll get a great SWR everywhere, as some people have pointed out. But for portable operations, I'm not sure it's the best antenna, but the advantage though is that you can use a tuner, but your antenna is going to be really close to a good SWR, 3-1, 4-1, and that really reduces the cable losses. Now, coming into the radio, you add the tuner and you just fix it that way for the little that you need to adjust the impedance. And yeah, you're gonna have less losses that way, but it's not something that, if you want to use portable and you're not sure how the antenna is going to be used, you're still going to have to bring a tuner with you. I'm outputting 10 watts here. The batteries are fresh. Here I'm on 40 meters. It tunes really well. Contest again. Just can't stand those things. I don't know. Sorry guys who are into contests, but it's not for me. Wow, that was short. Useless. So very strong contact on 40 meters with Denmark, OZ7KOL, but I didn't want to chat. So it works fine with a tuner. I'm sure it'll work on all the bands. I think the lower SWR was on 30 meter. I haven't tried yet. Unfortunately, I have to, well, not unfortunately, but I have to teach a self-defense class at 2:30, and it's in half an hour, so I'm gonna have to pack up and go. It's in the same location, but still, I wish I could continue a little bit longer. What I'm going to do here is to mount this antenna in its natural environment, and in my opinion that is as a home antenna, because it needs to be installed properly and stretched in a straight line and far from the ground. It will work on portable operations, but not always, and with a tuner. Actually, it will always work with a tuner, I'm sure, and it seems to be very good. But if you want to use it without a tuner, I think you have to install it in a specific way. This is the reverse beacon network report. Now, we shouldn't be surprised that an antenna, an unfed antenna that is 130 foot long, actually works fine. Of course it's going to work. But the question is, will it work on all the band it's claiming to be working on without a tuner? For portable operations, it works great with a tuner because, of course, you can't really easily mount the antenna far off the ground in a straight line. Now, next time I will install the antenna at my house on the roof, off the ground and as straight as I can get it. Then we'll really see how it performs on all the bands. Unfortunately, this video is long enough, so I have to make a part 2. Have a good one.